Welcome to Chat About with Rosalee Henry. Hi everyone, welcome to Chat About with Rosalee Henry, where we have real conversation that change lives one conversation at a time. And today we have with us Miss Cherry Fernandez. She's an advanced practice registered nurse, a certified family nurse practitioner, a maternal and newborn nurse with more than 25 years of experience caring for mothers and babies. After years of serving families, earning her master's degree and pushing through the demands of healthcare during COVID, Cherry reached a point of burnout that changed the directions of her life. Today, she's the founder of Mother Baby Central, where she's on a mission to help first time moms feel informed, confident, and supported during the postpartum journey. I'd love for you to help me to welcome Cherry Fernandez. Thank you so much for coming onto the show to talk about all the stuff that first time moms should know. So, this topic is going to be what every first time mom should know.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Miss Rosalie.
You're
And I'm
welcome.
very happy and excited to be here talking to you.
Yes. So, what first made you realize that
Mhm.
maternal and newborn, that area is where you want to specialize in, where you want to give your time?
Yeah. So it really didn't happen because of like one instance or one situation. I started my nursing career in the Philippines more than 25 some years ago, and I did a lot of specialties then. And then when I moved to the United States, I was assigned to the perinatal GYN postpartum unit, and that's where I found my niche. I took care of different gynecologic conditions as well as postpartum patients. But where I enjoyed taking care of are our pregnant mothers. It was a level 3 hospital, so we receive a lot of complicated or high risk pregnant mothers who has to be on bed rest for a long time. And so I took care of them in the most vulnerable state. They are restricted with their activity. And therefore, being pregnant, there's like a lot of emotional and mental health that's going on at that point. And for you as a caregiver, me being as a nurse, I feel like, I'm at least being there and having that deeper connection with them. Their families, some of their families being at a level 3 hospital are far away. They're
Yes.
not around the area.
Yeah.
So, I work night shift then, and my patient look forward to me coming. I look forward for me to come and take care of them. And we just have like little conversation that actually, they said they're looking forward to those little conversations. So
Wow.
then I said, wow,
Yes.
if this is nursing, this is where I
For
wanted
you.
to be.
That is such a wonderful beginning.
Uh-huh.
But even in that space and
Mhm.
all that you're giving and
Mhm.
doing and living your calling,
Mhm.
that's when you hit that point where you became
Yes.
burned out.
Yes.
So when did you realize that you were running on empty?
It really didn't, happen overnight. It took a while for me, to kind of realize that I was hitting like, like a wall at that time. I've been a nurse for like 20 years at that
Wow.
time. And coming into work, it wasn't giving me the joy and satisfaction anymore. And not so much because I didn't like what I'm doing.
Right.
I think I was just like searching for a change.
Wow.
And so I really doesn't want to go away from nursing, but I just wanted to do something beyond bedside,
Right.
maybe like an advanced level of care. And so that's when I thought, well, the hospital is going to give like tuition reimbursement and things like that. So financially, let me take
Right.
advantage of it too. So like different things kind of, push me towards that direction. And so, I went to school, hoping that whatever void I'm feeling at
Mhm.
that time is gonna fill, by going back
Back
to
to school.
school.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure so
Mhm.
much healthcare practitioners can relate to
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
because, like you said, burnt out is real.
Mhm.
Looking back, what signs of burnt out were you experiencing
Mhm.
that nobody else saw?
It was actually very silent. Burnout is
Mm,
silent. I don't think anybody noticed. The people around me, my
yes.
peers, my patient, they don't even know,
Wow.
that I'm going through that. Not even my family. My
Mm,
children were younger then. My husband works a lot. He worked night shift, and so we have like different
right.
schedules. So when I'm home, he's actually not there.
Yes.
And then the rest of my family are in the Philippines. I only
Mm-hmm.
have one sister
Here.
here in
Wow.
Georgia, and she's busy with work too. And I feel like, I guess it's just me being that kind of person who just keeps everything to
Everything's
myself. And you probably can relate
mm-hmm.
with this being a caregiver. And sometimes, we just don't think of ourselves. We
That's
just
true.
think of other people.
Why do you think so many caregivers
Mm-hmm.
take so long to even ask for help? We get so exhausted
Mm-hmm.
before we even ask for help.
I think it's just ingrained to us. I feel like people are born to be caregivers.
Wow. That
I
is true.
think, not everybody can be
Mm-hmm.
one. And if that's the path that you chose, you're more that person who always gives
Yes.
until you hit that point that, okay, what is going on with
Mm-hmm.
me? Like, I don't find satisfaction anymore in
Right.
that. I always say to myself, you cannot give on an empty
Empty cup.
cup. It's
Yes.
a very
Yes.
common,
Yes.
saying, but it
But it's
really
true.
holds true.
And that's such a great perspective. So,
Mm-hmm.
for someone who's watching right now,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say to someone who feels guilty
Mm-hmm.
about asking for help, feel guilty about slowing down?
Mm-hmm. Guilty is a liar. It is. We should never feel guilty about self-care.
Mm,
We should not feel guilty about taking care of ourselves, because that's the only, taking care of ourselves is the
yes.
only way that you can give more.
Yes. Keep going, and even to be able to keep going.
Exactly. We're all humans. At some point we hit that just like block of like, okay, I cannot give anymore. There's nothing
Yes.
more to give. So, making sure that we're taking care of ourselves, I think, is very
That is
important.
very
Yeah,
important. And even taking care of ourselves, we're able now to take care of others that we
exactly.
so set out to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
what's one thing about
Mm-hmm.
new motherhood that
Mm-hmm.
breaks your heart because no one talks about it?
Well, I would say postpartum mental health. That is very real for me. I mean, working at the hospital for this long, I don't think it's given enough attention. And not because it was like a topic that needs to be
Right.
avoided, but I think it's just that time constraint that the patient has to be in the
Right.
hospital. So a vaginal delivery is only staying at the hospital for two
For two
days
days.
and a C-section for 3 days.
Yes.
That's it.
And that we are going to wrap up this section, and we're going to be right back. So, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Thank you.
Get your weekends back with Patio Laundry. With 110 machines on site, you'll never have to wait, or your laundry is free. Can you do your laundry in 4 minutes? With Patio Laundry, it's easy with our wash, dry, and fold service. 2 minutes to drop, 2 minutes to pick up. Patio Laundry has a safe environment with a large waiting area with TVs, outdoor patio, vending machines, and free Wi-Fi. So get your weekends back with Patio Laundry.
Welcome to Chat About with Rosalee Henry. Welcome back to this great conversation with Cherry Fernandez, where we're discussing what every new mother should know. So, Cherry, what's one thing that we could do differently to better support new mothers?
I feel like postpartum mental health should not be optional. but it should be built into the infrastructure of care. If for anything, compared to other countries, a woman who gives birth would have like a year off to take care of their babies, to take care of themselves, but not here in the United States. Just for like that, my knowledge is more on like the hospital base and inpatient base. And so even for me, when I gave birth, I would have like a 12 weeks of FMLA and things like that, which is not enough.
Nope.
I mean, you still have to get paid because you have bills to pay, and things
Doesn't
like
stop.
that. I know. So if I have my wish that postpartum mental health or even like maternity care should be structured, should be funded,
Yes.
I'm wishing, here. I feel that would make a difference for that woman. If you think about it, it's very important for a woman to take care of herself because a baby will thrive better, the family is going to do better, the community is going to be better,
When
and
she's
the
well
whole
supported.
nation, if she's well supported.
Yes,
So definitely,
that is so
if
true.
I have my wish, that would be it.
Both of us wish. I
Mhm.
definitely agree with everything
Mhm.
you say on that
Mhm.
because postpartum support is so important. And
Exactly.
when a mom is supported, like you said, the whole community is.
Exactly.
You have had the experience of seeing what postpartum support birth is like in multicultural, different culture,
Mhm.
right? So what made you decide to finally share your knowledge with the
Yes,
world?
Yes. So I actually started my YouTube channel when I was on sabbatical. After I worked as a nurse practitioner for a couple years. For context, I graduated in 2020 when the pandemic hits. So it was a very trying hiring climate in healthcare. So there's not like, especially primary care, there's not a lot of jobs available because most of the primary care had closed during COVID. And so the ones available was more telehealth. And so I got into that telehealth platform. But most of them are contract jobs. And so after both contracts ended, I was actually juggling 2 contracts at the same time. And that's when I said I needed a break because I really never stopped. And so I started, during that break, I said, well, I needed to do something.
Yes.
I can't not just stop working because I cannot.
Yeah.
I am not.
And you have so much information to share.
I do.
So
I feel like, I have all this knowledge. I, went to school for a master's degree. I think I have, enough information and knowledge and experience.
lived
also.
experience and educational
Lived
experience.
to share. And I love teaching. So that's when
Yes.
I said, you know what, let me share my
Okay.
knowledge. Whoever wanted to listen can listen.
Yes.
Whoever doesn't want to listen, you don't
Well,
have to
we
listen.
can only do our part and make sure that we put in the information out there, the awareness out there. And we always say purpose have a way of finding us, right? That
Exactly.
was something that you thought about doing.
Exactly. Yes.
So since launching your podcast, your YouTube channel,
yes.
what's one myth that keep coming back
Mhm.
about postpartum recovery?
Probably one myth is that a woman thinks that after having a baby, everything goes back to normal. That's not true. There's a lot of changes that happens, not just physically, emotionally, and especially mentally.
Yes.
It's just how physiology goes, okay? So you would think that, everything's going to go back to normal. Or, for example, after you have a baby and you're having these mood swings and, and you feel like, okay, why am I not better yet? Women just don't realize that these are normal things that they have to go through because
it's a journey.
It is a journey. Having a baby is very transformational. You are not the same person
That is so true.
as you are after that baby comes out from you.
But also, do you think it's because of what society put out? A lot of information is out there on social media, and a lot of women think that what they're seeing is that what it's supposed to be, like your body just snap back, and it's not so. So I'm so happy that your information is out there, my information is out there to not only educate the woman, but also to support them and let them know, like, okay, what you're experiencing is real.
Yes.
And you have to take time because, like you said, it's transformational, right? Your body go through all these changes and it's not going to happen overnight. So give yourself grace and know that this is a journey, right?
And thank you for saying that, Miss Rosalee, about like all the information in social media. Not everything that you hear in social media is true.
That is
So
true.
just be careful on, you know, who you're following. You
Yes.
know, nothing against influencers and things like
Right.
that. You know, they have like their own way, you know, for lived experiences. You know, it's
Some.
also legitimate.
Some.
It's also legitimate. But just know that those are their personal experiences. Everybody would have personal experiences, and you should not model what you're seeing in social media to what your experience is going to
Well,
be.
I'm so glad that you and I are putting out the real information, right? From our lived experience, but also from our training, being in this space for me over 25 years, also for you.
Yes.
But what's the biggest thing first-time parents aren't taught before they leave the hospital, especially you being in the hospital and seeing? What would you say?
I feel like, you know, I've mentioned earlier, one would be mental health. Again, there's just not a lot of time to really talk about it. So it's really up to that person to kind of do her own research as well. You know, when a woman is pregnant, and nothing against it, but they prepare so much about
The birth.
gender reveal. Not even that.
the
Gender
birth,
reveal.
the gender reveal, the baby shower.
Baby shower.
No
Yes.
postpartum plan.
No postpartum plan.
Not
which
even a
is
meal plan.
Very, very important.
Yes.
Like, you need to be prepared. You need to be knowledgeable on, you know, what are the things that are going to happen, because a lot of these things are normal to a point. Because at sometimes you would think it's still normal, but it's actually not.
Not normal.
And
Yes. remember,
after you have a baby, you only have one appointment with your provider.
Yes.
6 months,
mo-
I mean, 6 weeks,
weeks.
later. One.
And there's so much
15 minutes.
Yes, and there's so much things that can happen
Exactly.
in between that time. So
Exactly.
I'm so happy that
Yes.
you know our information is out there because it's so important. And one of the things that you had touched on is the gender reveal and the baby shower and not having that postpartum plan, but also make sure that you have a support system. Who is your support? Who is your support team? Who is going to be there for you no matter what it is that you're going through? You know, always encourage my clients. Are you planning on breastfeeding? If so, have you established a relationship with a lactation consultant? Don't wait for that last minute before you start thinking about your support team. So on that, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation because we have so much to share.
Yes.
We could be on here for hours talking about this.
Yes, we
So
are.
thank you so much,
course.
and we will be right back.
After a successful inpatient procedure, a prominent star from TLC's 1,000-pound Best Friends begins her journey to recovery with personalized care from Mother's Helping Hands Home Care. Trusted and recommended by her doctor, we're here to ensure a smooth and comfortable transition home. Featured prominently on TLC, Mother's Helping Hands Home Care is your trusted partner for professional care.
Thank you for watching Chat About with Rosalee Henry. Welcome back again for this final segment of our conversation with Cherry Fernandez, where we're talking about postpartum support, just the journey of what parents go through, not just moms, because dad do experience some postpartum issues. So what are 3 simple ways loved ones can better support new mom, not just through the baby shower and the gender reveal? There's much more that goes on than that. So what 3 things
I
that you
love that question. So first thing, sleep. Sleep is not overrated. It is a health crisis.
Yes.
A woman who just gave birth obviously is not going to get a lot of sleep. So support people,
Let mom
husband,
sleep.
significant other, protect that sleep. And the saying that sleep when the baby sleeps is actually
No,
not gonna
no,
work, because
no.
mom's mind is always on overdrive. So that being said, at night you need to make a plan. I know with the breastfeeding and all of that, there are some ways how to navigate the breastfeeding
Yes.
at night. That's why you need to have that relationship with the lactation consultant.
And even have a plan.
And even have
Even
a
have a
plan.
plan,
Yes.
yes.
So make sure that sleep is protected.
Mhm.
Take the baby out
Mhm.
for a good 3-4 hours and take the baby back
Back.
in. So mom would have that,
Right.
straight 4 hours of
And
sleep.
that's one way
Mhm.
for the partner to be involved, right?
Exactly.
I have sometimes men like, I don't know what to do because I can't
Mhm.
breastfeed. But you can also bottle feed. Mom
Mhm.
can pump and you can
Yes.
bottle feed. You
Yes.
can change a diaper,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You can make sure that mom have something
Yes.
to eat, some
Yes.
snack
Yes.
while she is,
Yes.
breastfeeding. So
For
that's
sure.
one way that you definitely
Yes.
can support
Yes.
us. Those
Yes.
are some practical
Yes.
tips that
Yes.
everyone can
Yes.
support mom.
I do have a
with.
second one also. Let the mom take the lead. What does that mean? Don't dictate what she needed to do. Let her be the mom that she wanted to
Yeah.
be. Sometimes grandparents would give their unsolicited
Oh,
advice,
Lordy.
which I know they mean well, but that's just gonna affect her, the mom, emotionally and mentally as well, because then she would think that she's not enough.
Yes. And sometimes the comment can come off to be judgmental. And a lot of times, the mom or the mother-in-law may mean well, or anyone may mean well.
Anybody.
I've had a client before where we were sitting, I was holding the baby. The mom had just gone to the bathroom. She walked back in, and the mother-in-law asked her, "Oh, what are we having for dinner?" Right?
Yeah.
And she wasn't even thinking about, like, okay,
Yeah.
I should be the one who's planning for what mom should be having for dinner, or ask mom, what would you like for dinner? Or this is something when you do have these plans of conversation before,
Exactly.
that day should not be the day that you're asking. This is something that
Yes.
should have happened way
Yes.
back. But a lot of times, like you said, the emphasis are in the birth and the gender reveal and the baby shower, but not how to support
Mm-hmm.
not only mom, the family,
Exactly.
mom and dad too.
Yeah, mom
after
and dad
after
too.
after
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
baby get home.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. So, what's one thing you wish that every mom knew
Mm-hmm.
before taking that baby home from the hospital?
That everything is going to be okay. And this is not me being dismissive. This
Nope.
is me being real.
Yes.
Go through the process,
Mhm.
struggle with breastfeeding if you have to.
Call a lactation
Again, call the
consultant.
lactation consultant. You need to know who your access, you need to know who your support is. Again, planning is very
Yes.
important, because that postpartum period is actually difficult. It's a live experience for myself as well. Even as a nurse, I had a hard time navigating that period. I went through a lot through the labor process. And actually, I just went to the Postpartum Support International Conference. And so now for my YouTube channel, it's going to be like a different take, more on mental health, because I feel like it's
that's
very
yes.
important.
And that's not talked about enough.
Exactly.
Yes.
That even just having a baby is a traumatic event in
Yes.
itself. So be ready for that, and not to scare you, but it's just how your body is going to process everything. So just go with the flow,
Yes.
but everything is going to be
Yes.
okay.
And sometimes birth can ignite some unresolved issues,
Oh,
some
definitely.
trauma that you thought
Yeah.
was buried.
Yes.
So just be prepared. Having those people in your corner, your lactation consultant,
Mhm.
have a mental health therapist, have
Therapist,
someone,
yes.
have that person where 3 o'clock in the morning or 4, whatever
Yes.
time you can
Yes.
reach out to that person. A lot of time, mental health therapists, they also have an app, so you can
They
reach
do.
them and have that conversation, because it can be very, very lonesome
Mhm.
going through that
Oh,
postpartum journey.
definitely. Yes, it
Yes.
is.
So, what's one message you want every exhausted caregiver or new mother to hear today?
Again, I would say that, it's gonna end. You know, it's gonna last forever.
At least 18 years.
At least, right? But it's gonna get better as the day
Yes.
goes by.
Mhm.
It's not. You're not gonna be that rut.
No.
I don't really want to call it like
Mm.
that, but you know, you're not gonna be in
Mhm.
that position for a long
Especially
time.
if you establish your support team.
Exactly.
You can't, there are people who go through a long period of
Mhm.
time because they don't know what to do, who to reach out to, and they
Mhm.
never
Mhm.
build that support team.
Exactly.
So that's very, very important. We're not telling
Yeah.
you that it's going to be easy all along. You're going to have some rough patches,
Yes.
but know
Agree.
that there are people, there's support out there that can definitely get to you.
Mhm.
So, Cherry, thank you so much for being here. Where can everyone connect with you and learn more about
Oh,
Mother
yes.
Baby Central?
Of course. Just go to YouTube and then just type Mother Baby Central. I haven't posted for a while. I've been busy at work, but I will still continue. Again, now I feel like my platform is going to be more on the
Yes,
postpartum mental health, but I feel that it's very important. But catch me in YouTube.
Yes, and for your program, it's
Yeah.
not just for moms; it's for the family, right?
Yes,
You
yes.
support dads, you
Mhm.
support the
I do.
grandparents, you support everyone who is involved because that is so important.
Exactly.
I touched on it earlier that
Mhm.
men do go through postpartum
Oh, yes.
depression too,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
They
do.
get sleep deprived. You know, they get all these emotion, and sometimes they feel helpless because they feel that they're not able to support the
Oh, yeah.
mom, and there's so much that you can do.
Mhm.
So, Cherry, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your experience.
You are
It was so
very
wonderful
welcome.
having you. And again, everyone, this is Rosalee Henry, Chat About, and you can always reach out to us on Mothers Helping Hands Atlanta.com. So again, thank you, Cherry, and
You're welcome.
have a wonderful time. And we look forward to bringing more informed conversation to you where you'll be able to feel supported and know exactly what to do when you need that support. Thank you. Thank you for watching Chat About with Rosalee Henry.